Hey everyone, and welcome. I'm your Green Monkey host, and today we are looking at something that is going to fundamentally change how you view your entire financial journey. You know, everybody constantly obsesses over that ultimate goal of $1 million. I mean, it's literally on every personal finance book, it's the thumbnail for every piece of clickbait out there, it's treated as this absolute holy grail of money. But what if I told you that $1 million isn't actually the number where your day-to-day life changes the most? In this explainer, we're taking a completely different approach. We are going to embark on a true level-up journey to financial freedom, focusing on the real milestones that actually impact your reality. Okay, let's dive right into this. So instead of stressing over some massive, distant million-dollar target, we're breaking wealth building down into actual, achievable levels. Here's our agenda for today. Level 1, 10 grand and building discipline. Level 2, 100 grand and unlocking momentum. Level 3, $500,000, which is basically total freedom. And finally, the fourth level, the crucial final ingredient, time.
All right, let's kick things off with level 1, 10 grand building discipline.
Now, reaching this first point is a massive accomplishment. Why? Because it proves you have the sheer discipline required to actually succeed long term. Let's do the math real quick. If you invest just $100 a month into an account earning an average 8% return, you're going to hit this $10,000 mark after about 6.5 years. But here is the kicker, and this frustrates a lot of people. Of that 10 grand, your personal contributions make up $7,800 of it. The rest is just, a little bit of interest. At this stage, you might actually be thinking, man, is this even worth it? I literally did all the heavy lifting. But trust me, you are setting the stage for something massive. Because the true latent power of this milestone is what happens next. Let's say you hit that $10,000 and you just stop. You never ever contribute another penny to that account. What happens? Well, 25 years later, that balance balloons to $69,538. And the absolute best part, nearly $59,000 of that is pure interest. You're basically getting roughly $1,000 a year in money that you completely didn't have to work for. That is the magic of compounding finally stepping up to the plate.
But honestly, beyond the math, this milestone is deeply psychological. Let's be real, most people live in a constant state of low-level financial stress or worry. Even if they don't consciously realize it, they know they're basically one bad week away from falling behind. So they're constantly hesitating before making basic purchases. Hitting 10 grand completely shatters that mental barrier. It gives you incredible peace of mind because, realistically, it covers 99% of life's surprise emergencies. Once you have this safety net in place, your brain is finally freed up to focus on much bigger financial goals.
Which brings us to level 2, 100 grand, unlocking momentum. Okay, I get genuinely hyped talking about this stage because this is the exact moment your money starts making real, tangible money for you. Let's look at how capital beautifully scales. If you only had $100 invested and you earned a 10% return, you'd make a measly $10 for the entire year. Most of us can make $10 an hour just doing a basic task, so that doesn't feel powerful at all. But apply that exact same 10% return to $100,000, and suddenly you are generating 10 grand a year, literally without lifting a finger. Most people absolutely cannot just easily earn an extra 10 grand on the side. At this level, the benefits of your capital scale proportionally, and the interest you gain becomes highly lucrative.
And when you break the numbers down, it brilliantly illustrates the massive aha moment of wealth building. If you invest 10 grand a year at a 7% return, your very first 100K takes an agonizing 7.84 years to reach. It feels incredibly slow, but the second 100K, that only takes 5.1 years. The third takes 3.78 years. And by the time you're going from $900,000 to $1 million, that exact same 100 grand increment takes only 1.35 years. Wealth accumulation is disproportionately slow in the beginning, but once that momentum builds, it absolutely accelerates like a runaway train.
This accelerating momentum fundamentally shifts our psychology. Think about investing compared to a sport, like golf, right? When you're out on the golf course and you hit a shot, you get instant feedback. You see exactly where that ball goes immediately. But investing is the total opposite. It requires a massive leap of faith. You basically have to show up, do the work, and trust the math today for a dream result that you won't fully see for decades. You might be 35 years old with 100 grand and feel totally behind your peers on social media. But if you stopped contributing entirely at that point, you'd still have nearly $1 million 30 years later. It is all about trusting that delayed feedback loop. So obviously the crucial point is getting to that first 100K as optimistically fast as possible, ideally in like 6 to 8 years. So how do we actually exceed the standard $833 a month required to do that? Well, first, maximize any employer match. If you have a 401k in the US or pension programs in the UK, Canada, or Australia, take full advantage. I mean, that is literally free money doubling your contribution. Second, take continuing education classes or get certifications to boost your primary income. And third, start a side hustle. Just an extra $50 to $100 a week injected directly into your investment account will dramatically speed up that initial, painfully slow compounding phase.
And that brings us to level 3, $500,000 total freedom.
This is a massive and, frankly, often completely overlooked psychological inflection point. This is where your portfolio begins doing the heavy lifting by its sheer size alone. At an 8% average return, a $500,000 portfolio generates $40,000 a year automatically. Just think about that for a second. That is a full-time working salary in many parts of the world, and you are earning it without even getting out of bed.
And this translates perfectly into a completely secure future. If you apply a very safe 4.7% withdrawal rate to your 500K, that gives you $23,500 a year. But when you combine that with average Social Security benefits, your household income in retirement becomes really comfortable. If you start claiming at age 62, you're looking at over $58,000 a year. Wait until full retirement at 67, and it jumps to over $73,000. Hold out until age 70, and you're pulling in over $85,000 annually. It clearly shows that $500,000 is actually more than enough for a very, very solid traditional retirement.
But what if you hit this milestone early? Say by age 45. Well, that introduces a brilliant concept called coast fire. And this is what true wealth actually buys you: absolute options. Because you already have enough invested to cover your future traditional retirement, you can just coast. You can dial back your stressful career, take a lower-paying job that you actually love, or even take a year off to travel without ruining your finances. You only need to work just enough to cover your immediate day-to-day expenses, while your $500,000 silently compounds in the background.
Finally, let's look at level 4, the final ingredient, time.
To synthesize this entire journey, you really need to understand that there is no magical secret unlocked at $500,000. It is simply the natural result of someone who hit 10 grand, stayed disciplined, hit 100 grand, and flat out refused to let lifestyle inflation win. The only thing sitting between you and these massive, life-changing numbers is time. The math is absolutely proven, the milestones are crystal clear, but none of it matters if you don't start. So the question is, will you take the leap of faith today? Remember, taking that very first disciplined step is the absolute only way to let compounding actually work its magic. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this explainer. Start building that discipline today, and I'll see you at your next milestone.